www.gundam.tk presents Double O Riser. Hey everyone, and welcome to a review this time of the Double O Riser, which is basically a combination of the Double O Gundam and the O Riser, which in this case are both sold separately, but you can also buy them together in a special set that comes with a green base. But if you're like me and you bought the Double O Gundam early, and you've been watching Double O Gundam and enjoyed seeing the Double O Riser in Trans Am mode, you might want to pick up the O Riser separately. The O Riser by itself is basically just a jet mode, and you can check out its separate review, as always, at www.gundam.tk. But let's see it put together now. To combine these to make the Double O Riser, very simply, you're going to turn the main section of the O Riser and put that on the Double O Gundam's back, and detach the two wings and hang them off of the shoulders like so. When you're preparing the O Riser, it's very simple. The transformation is just to pull this down, bend this forward, and then move the main nozzle down, and this is going to go onto the back. And as for the wings themselves, very simply, when you pull them off, they'll be like this. Bend this down, and this part will go into the shoulders under the GN drive. Now, just before we put this together, I just wanted to show you the Double O Gundam, and it really is a fairly skinny Gundam. Not as skinny as the Strike, because basically it has the two big shoulders added on, but it's not big. When we add the O Riser onto that, that's going to bulk up considerably. The first part of the transformation is to look at the backpack, and basically the O Riser has some clips, and you can see that there's a notch cut out there. So all you're going to do is plug that in, and then lock it down into place. So that's actually going to stay on there pretty securely, and now all of a sudden, well, the Double O Gundam has added a lot of weight onto its back. For the wings themselves, if you look under the GN drive, there's a spot here, and it has two indents, one on either side. And if you look at this, you'll see that there's just an extra peg that sticks out there. So when you plug it in, you're just going to plug it in like this, but what you have to do is slide it forward, and it says that in the manual, and if you don't do that, it's going to fall out all the time. So make sure you get that proper snap sound. Once you've added the wings on, something that you can do as you please is to bend in these side flaps and play with these little blue wings and bring them in and out a little bit just to get a more rounded effect. Finally, one last thing you can do is that you can take the GN shield from the Double O Gundam, and there's a special spot here and on the side of the O Riser, and just plug it in like that. I'm holding on to this, but the first thing I noticed as soon as I put on the back section and the wings is... oh, look at that. It stood up. But I don't know for how long. It really does get a lot back heavy unless you bring everything forward, so you're going to have to fix the pose. So when everything's put together, here is the Double O Riser. Now my first impression is how wide this has become. So just for a quick spin around, 45. The side shot shows how much that the jet sticks out of the back. Here's a back 45, and the back shot. Now, in the back, this jet part looks pretty cool, but something you don't notice it at all really in the front, which is too bad. Though it's a little hard to see, here it is with the GN drives turned on, if you have a battery inside. Size comparison time. On the left is the original Gundam, version 2.0 Master Grade, and on the right, I think I need a wider lens to get this whole Double O Riser into this. I always feel sad for the size of the high grade 1/100th V Gundam on the left, and that's just more reason Bandai, please make a Master Grade of the V1 and the V2. It just can't compare even when the V Gundam has its add-on. Finally, it just wouldn't be a size comparison without seeing it next to the Master Grade New Gundam. And where the New Gundam is tall, I really think that the Double O Riser sets the bar anew for being wide. As far as posability goes, even though you have the Double O Riser on, you can still move the jets to the back, although that's going to make it very back heavy. But if it falls over, it'll catch itself, which is a nice touch. You're not really able to bring it forward unless you want to get this kind of strange effect, but it doesn't really look as effective as bringing just the GN drives forward. The arms themselves still maintain their mobility because this is attached onto the back, but you are going to be limited with some of the posing that you can do with this, just because the weight of this is almost always going to drag it down over top of the shoulder. Where you'll really notice the posability problems though is with the legs, because anytime that you're going to do anything, you have to be aware that to keep the center of balance when you're adding on this much back weight, and usually you're going to angle the GN drive slightly back anyway, that you have to keep the legs accordingly. So even though you can bring them together, they're always going to have to be sticking back behind the Gundam to keep a center of gravity. Whatever you want to say about the 00 Riser's posability though on the ground, it's more than made up for when you put it on an action base. Because when it's on an action base, because it snaps in so well on the sides here, you're able to move that. So that wanted to fall off, but you're able to move it around no problem, sliding it forward and back, and you're able to get all sorts of pretty cool launch poses. So all of a sudden what looked like kibble sticking out of the back sort of looks like it's flying behind majestically as it leaps off in the air to fight Mr. Bushido or whoever's coming at him this week. Again, on the action stand, you can see why Ribbons would want to get his 00 Gundam, more importantly his 2 GN drives, back. That is a pretty angry looking Gundam, and I think that the extra weight doesn't hinder it at all in terms of looks or posability as soon as you put it on the action stand. If you're going to collect any models from 00 Gundam, one of the things that you'll have to decide between is the 144th high grade series or the non-grade 1100 series. And as I've gotten more of these 1100 kits, I think that they're getting better and better, and the 00 Riser is no disappointment. I was worried that the weight would be a problem, but the action base completely nullifies that, and the poses that you can pull by putting all 3 of these Gundams and later all 4 together, I think make them look pretty awesome, and I don't know if you get the same effect with the high grades. Then again, it may come down to how much shelf space you want to waste. I highly recommend the 00 Riser, and I think that the anime is getting better and better as it approaches its climax, and I hope that you're enjoying it too, and I hope you stick around as viewers, and I'm looking forward to doing the 1100 Cerebi Gundam. Thanks for checking this out, everybody. And here's a hint from the next Gundam I'm building. I thought the V1 was a little underpowered, so he borrowed some weapons. I don't think anybody will say that he's underpowered now.